My beautiful wife is jealous of her sister because she's prettier. She went ballistic when her ugly sister kissed me. My wife Jenna is absolutely gorgeous, but she has some really negative body image issues because of her sister Mary, who is very conventionally attractive, as opposed to Jenna's more unconventional, but striking beauty. Mary was a successful model until a couple years ago and now works in the fashion industry. In our early days of dating, when I would tell Jenna she's beautiful, she would always say, "Just wait until you see my sister." When I did finally meet her family, she would randomly press me for weeks to talk about her sister. She asked whether I thought Mary was more attractive than her. I always told her the truth, that I think Mary is attractive in a boring way, and that I think my wife is much more beautiful and interesting to look at. She wouldn't let it go until I confronted her about how uncomfortable it made me and asked her what was going on. This is when she told me that she always had a chip on her shoulder about her looks because of being compared with her sister all the time growing up. They fell into the classic smart one/pretty one dynamic their whole lives, with my wife being the smart one. She didn't like this and always wanted to be considered the pretty one. She also said Mary had a habit of being flirty with all of her exes, and warned me that it would happen to me eventually. She then started sobbing and begging me to not cheat on her with her sister, to which I said I would never cheat on her with anyone, especially her sister. I've been crazy about my wife since day one, and there's literally no woman on earth who could come close to her. I honestly didn't believe her about the flirting at first. I assumed it was just an extension of her insecurity, but I was wrong. Whenever we get together with my wife's family, Mary always finds ways to touch me and make little innuendo/comments about me or my body. She rubs my biceps, and talks about how huge they are. When I call her out on it, she laughs and says she just wants to know my workout routine. Everyone knows she's lying and it's super uncomfortable, especially for my wife. I've always called Mary out on it because I always want her to stop. She'll cool it for a while but eventually start doing it again. It's been 6 years of this, and every time it happens my wife is upset for days and I have to do a lot of reassuring. Now, this is where things get horrible for us. A few days ago we were at my mother-in-law's birthday party, and Mary asked me to help her grab some things from the garage. When I told her to get someone else to do it, because I didn't want to be alone with her, she said she needed a strong person to help her out. She even promised she wouldn't do anything. I hate that I went, I regret going, and I don't know why I went. I just never thought she would actually try to do anything. That possibility didn't exist in my head because at the end of the day, I'm married to her sister, which makes us family. I realize now that I should have seen this would happen eventually and should have permanently shut her down years ago. Well, as soon as we walked into the garage, she turned and pressed me up against the door with her whole body and started trying to kiss me. I immediately pushed her off and asked her what the F she was doing. She started giggling and saying she was just doing what we both have been thinking and kept insisting, "You know you want to." I told her she was out of her mind and ran out of there. I went straight to my wife and told her we were leaving. The whole ride home, she was asking me what was wrong. I wasn't sure whether to tell her because I knew how much it was going to hurt. But I also thought Mary would probably try to spin it as me making a move on her. So I knew I had to just say it. I told her everything and she cried the whole way home. I felt awful for the last several days. Mary has been calling and texting my wife doing exactly what I thought she would do, even telling my wife that I said Mary was the hottest girl I've ever seen, which I had to assure my wife a million times that I did not and would never say that because it's simply not true. My wife is the hottest girl I've ever seen. She's been a complete wreck the last several days. She's hardly eating. She pulls away from my touch when I try to hug her or just hold her hand. She says she feels hideous and disgusting. This is the lowest I have ever seen her, and it hurts to see how much she's hurting. I have no idea what to do to help her heal from this. What should I do?